Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to show you a very simple strategy that works and it's going to keep you profitable. All right, it's going to keep you and make you to be consistently in profit. All right, just like Jeffrey Benson. All right, and a lot of you out there, you know Jeffrey Benson. I'm going to be teaching you his trading strategy and how he managed to catch all those moves you see him catching every day, making hundreds of thousands of dollars in the market. And this is very simple. His strategy is no stress strategy for me, although it's not like my own because me, I am doing top down analysis and that is where I trade from. All right, but Jeffrey is killing it every day with these simple tricks. All right, so without wasting much of your time, let's go to the chart and see what we can dig up. First of all, we want to be trading with the 1 hour time frame. All right, and we are going to be trading with a trend line. Sorry, we are going to be trading with only trend line. I don't know, trend line, psychological level, and I wanted to say support and resistance, but I just find out that his support and resistance is always psychological levels. All right, he doesn't use any other thing except from psychological level. So what are psychological levels? Psychological levels is a round of numbers that is mostly used by banks. All right, because banks like getting everything at a very cheap rate. They don't want to buy GBP USD or sell GBP USD when GBP USD is on 1.29006 something, but they want to buy it on 1.29000 nothing. All right, they don't want to buy it on 1.2967089. No, they want to buy it on whole numbers. All right, that is why these levels are being respected by these levels are being respected on this pair. All right, and not just this pair alone, but a lot of different most of the whole pairs. All right, most of the whole pairs, the markets respect their psychological levels, and some of them too doesn't respect. All right, but for all of these pairs that I'm telling you right now, which is the Euro USD, the GBP USD, they are all respected. All right, so we want to be using the psychological levels right there. We're on the market and we are currently on 1.288856. We are to draw our psychological levels first. We are to plot our psychological levels first, then 1.2890, right? 1.290. That's our main psychological level. All right, and I'm going to show you the reason why you need to use this level so when trading GBP USD. And even if you are doing my top down analysis, always use it, because in the middle of the range you can use it to add more entries. All right, and the second one again, let's still draw this. Let's still draw 1.2800. all right, that's the next psychological level. And all of these levels that I'm telling you, they are the major psychological level. We don't want to have any other thing on the screen apart from these things. All right, so these are the levels, and which other one? 1.270. all right, 1.27. Just 27, tap on it, is going to perfectly keep it for you, put it there for you. And the next one is 1.26. 1.26, right? I don't want you to mess up your chart, just draw the one that are relevant for now. All right, 1.26, the one that is close to where the market is trading. Just draw it like 6 or 10 of them, just draw it out, then see from there. All right, so we have our main psychological level. What is the next thing? All right, the next thing is just probably this. All right, our trend line. All right, let's say we are currently trading here. All right, we want to take our trades on either the main psychological level, all right, or the sub psychological level, but I prefer the main psychological levels. All right, and you have to look for lows that was created. All right, because when you're drawing your trend line, you're probably going to look for peaks and troughs to draw your trend line with. And this is our first trend line here. All right, we had this low. Let's say we are around this point, we could have still got some pips here, but this one is clear to me. All right, this is clear to me, and we have our first trend line here. All right, and the second one again is here. So that is why it's still important to use the sub psychological level. But me, I don't prefer that. I like using the main psychological level, alright? Because all those ones you can see it, the market, any other thing inside it is a ranging market, alright? So let's go to the 15 minutes time frame for entries, alright? For entries, you want to be looking at 15 minutes time frame for confirmations and so on and so forth. Alright, so you want to see your entry come to either close to the psychological level, 5 pips close to your psychological level, then you look for either buys. If you have a rejection, if it has a rejection like this, alright, because if you are trading this, alright, this level alone is a very nice rejection. 10 pips before your psychological level, that's what you should be looking out for mostly, alright. Then you can see that this market second touch, third touch is around here. We didn't really get that touch. That's why I told you that 10 pips before your psychological level, just draw out a box and wait for that rejection candle that will form there. And look at that rejection candle. You can see it right here. It formed the next candle that will start buying from that side. All right, that is how Jeffrey Benson catch his buys and sells most of the time. Not just most of the time, that is what he trades with. All right, that's what he trades with. He doesn't trade with something more than this. And you can see him, he used 20 pip stop loss, but my stop loss is a bit tighter than his. All right, I use a very tight stop loss because I like risk management, like risk management and time. All right, we want to be trading on London and New York session. If these things doesn't happen during those times, don't buy, don't sell. All right, this is what we want to be looking out for. You can see it is a perfect entry at that point. And what was the second one? Look at the second one. You could have still entered here because it was New York session. Did we get a nice rejection candle? I think we got, right? And look at this. If you enter buys from here, although this did not really go well, all right, that day did not go well. You don't want to hold trades after your session, all right, because after this session is the Asian session, there's going to be range. So this might be a break-even trade. This is a break-even trade, all right. So that's it for that one. Which other trend line do we have again? Do we have any other one? Right, so this is what we want to be, this is the way you want to be drawing your trend line. Let's go to the 1 hour. I think we missed so many of them. All right, we missed so many of them. All right, this is a high. All right, this is a low. Connect this, make sure it's perfect, make sure that it's perfectly drawn. All right, don't make mistakes. And let's go to the 15 minutes time frame and let's see what we have. All right, so currently on the 15 minutes, you can see what the market is doing. This was our second touch here. All right, during New York session, during London session, what happened? I told you that 10 pips. All right, you don't want to be trading outside your trend line. All right, this is a trend line. Sorry, this is a support area. You can see it, rejection, rejection, rejection. All right, you want to see this market break below your psychological level, then you look for sales from there. And look at it, gave a very nice rejection candle, then sold all the way to the downside. This is the simple strategy he used. He doesn't complicate it. Me and you will know that. All right, this is what he used every day. All right, and look at it, that is a very nice 1 2 3 if you took that. And the same thing, that's why I said that you can be using this thing to add more entries. But this is Asian session. I don't trade outside my session. If you have been following me, I don't trade outside my session. All right, so this is this one. You can see that it broke out and tested where our psychological level. And for me, this is not a nice trade for me because it's like news. Yes, this is news. I don't trade news. All right, I don't trade news. So guys, if you like this strategy and if you want, okay, let me just go on and give you more examples. All right, Let me give you more examples. Let's go to the 1 hour. So looking at the trend line 2, you see that this is where our first trend line started. Then we had our second touch around this point. Fine, that's nice, all right. So around this area, I want you to take a look at something, all right. You know that you are probably you are trading with you know that you are trading with trend line and also psychological levels, right? And I told you that you should always be waiting for your this thing either 10 pips, because sometimes the market end up missing those zones, all right. So if you are still drawing your trend line the same way I told you, you have to still scale to the 30 minutes time frame or the 15 minutes time frame for a counter trend line, all right, for a trend line inside a higher time frame trend line. That will call it counter trend line, all right. This is a high, this is a higher low, this is a lower high, created another lower low here, a lower high here, a lower high here. You have to connect this and this together, right? So this is it. This is for this one right here. So I want to show you something, some tricks about Jeffrey Benson trading strategy. All right. So looking at, you know that you are having this sell, all right. You have this rejection here. This is just 1 day. All right. This is 1 day. Let me add my events divider, my session breaks, all right, so that you guys can be seeing the days and the ending. So this is 1 day here. We had this trend line created on the 15 minutes time frame, all right. And you don't want to be trading on a rejection of a trend line. I've already told you guys this. You don't want to be trading on the just on a trend line bounce. Always look for support around. If there's no support, don't trade it. It's just very simple as that, all right. Always look for support area, support or demand or supply zones, all right. Look for that. And the next day, what do we have? We had this breakout. You don't trade it like that. You wait for support. If there's any support, you draw it out. And if you are to be looking at this area, because a lot of traders will be trading this, buying to the upside because we had a breakout, then we had rejection, like as if it's going up, and you see this massive candle took them all out. Easy, right? Then a lot of people lost to this trade, all right. This is how I frame high probability trades, and with this it will really help you. And look at, there's a rejection here, previous days there's a rejection here, rejection around these zones, rejection around this point. So why are you buying around here when the market has not really even break out of it? Why? This is not done, all right. This is not done. Draw your support zones around this point, right? We have a support here, a very nice support zone. So a lot of traders are buying. No, we don't do that. Is either it breaks to the upside and retest it. And look at what, oh my God, look at what happened right now, all right? There's a breakout, all right? And it came back to retest it, then buy to the upside. Easy, all right? And as well, don't forget that there is more momentum in buying at this point, because look at what happened, all right? This selling pressure is already exhausting at this point, all right, because you are seeing multiple rejection, and the candles are not full again, all right. It's that the sellers are getting weaker at this point, and you have your psychological levels plotted around here, and this is around this is around 5:45 New York session, all right, and in Nigerian time is around in Nigerian time, they're ahead of it with 4 hours. I don't really know, but London session start from around 8 o'clock in Nigerian time here. So that's it. This is where you should be looking for your buys. And if you're adding more entries, it should be around this point, right? Buy target this support area, all right. So once you buy, you get a rejection candle, you just buy to the upside. Then what's the next thing? Buy and target this support zone, and once there is a breakout on this support zone, you know that you're at the right place, all right. You still buy again, all right. Add more position. This is how you should be trading, all right. You should be trading with this and with this kind of mindset, all right, because it's going to really help you to frame high probability trades. And that is it for that day. All right. So the next day, what happened? All right, we can see that the next day we have already sell during the New York session to the downside. Fine and good. We didn't have a very nice entry during that time, and I think we have a trend line here and this one to the downside. All right, make sure it's perfectly drawn. This is your counter trend line and it's not that valid. It's not that valid. All right, and you want to be trading with your psychological level here as well. All right, don't forget, 1 trade, 2 trades per day, you are off the chart. Easy. So the next thing, what happened the next day? Right, that the same day we had this trend line created. The next day during London session, there was no rejection. Rejected. What is our psychological level? There is no psychological levels there, so we are not trading. Right, there is no trade day for us that day for this particular point in time. All right, and look at this one here. All right, just watch. Look at this trend line that is connected to this area. The market came here, what had the rejection on this candle. Look at this rejection here, first of all, and the second one, you should have entered a buy from this point because of what? Your trend line bounce, your psychological level as well. All right, then it targets where this support zone that is resting below this area. Target it first, then you can now be trailing your stop loss from there. All right, that's first. That is another trade for the next day, Friday. All right, and when you're trading, you should also be watching out for news so that you won't get caught up with news. You can see nice trend line bounce happened here. All right, nice trend line touch, and this one was also coming from the downside all the way from the 1 hour. Everything perfectly worked. This is how perfect trades work. All right, when you know what you are doing, when you know that yes, this is how it happened, you will not be afraid to enter. You will not be afraid to trade, because you are very sure that yes, this is how it has been happening and it has been working well. Right, so why will you be afraid to trade them? No, you are not going to be afraid. And the next one is here. All right, this is your counter trend line. You had another low created. All right, this one was created as well. And don't forget, you want to be trading with your psychological level, as I said earlier. Right, okay, we have this drawn. We have our psychological level here. On that psychological level, there is a rejection. Rejection again, you are still silent because there is no trend line breakout or something like that to the downside. All right, and here you had a trend line breakout. If you scale to the 5 minutes time frame, on a rejection on this trend line, this is where you are meant to scale. Enter for a sell at this point. All right, target where your trend line, right, and that was the sell, and you are done for that day. So let's still go to the front side. Let's see the trades that we are getting from that area. All right, so the next day, what happened? What really happened? All right, we had a breakout, a test on our trend line, and what happened? A breakout, and there is no psychological levels, right? Okay, this is where you want to trade your psychological level, and you see that there's a breakout on a trend line showing you that there is more selling pressure, right? Then a break on this trend line on 5 minutes time frame is your entry, and you see, and this happened during London session, and you are out for that day. Target where either the next one or the look back to the, you can look back to the history and see that there's a support zone here, then you mark it out and target there. All right, once you are on 1 to 2, 1 to 3, you should know what to do. You should be wise from when trading like that. All right, and another one again is that we had a trend line bounce here. I told you guys, look at this is a rejection, although it didn't touch our trend line. Fine and good, but we see that this buying pressure, look at this range, is already dead. All right, it's already dead from this point. And look at, we had a breakout on our psychological level, a rejection. Look at where you're meant to enter because of what? The trend line is more like a trend line bounce as well. All right, and you are good, you sell to the downside. What happened the next day? the next day there's no actual trade here. All right, there is no trade here for me. So guys, this is a very simple strategy to use and trade GBP USD, Euro USD. Although I'm still going to work on this on Euro USD, but for now this is for GBP USD for me. So guys, kindly subscribe and also like this video. See you guys in the next one.